pill in Ibiza to show Avicii I was cool. And when I finally got sober, felt 10 years older, but there was something to do. I'm living out in LA. I drive a sports car just to prove I'm a real big baller, cause I made $1 million and I spend it on girls and shoes. But you don't wanna be high like me, never really know why like me. You don't ever wanna step off that roller coaster and be all alone. And you don't wanna ride the bus like this, never know who to trust like this. You don't wanna be stuck up on that stage singing, stuck up on that stage singing. Oh, I know a sad soul, sad soul, darling. All I know are sad souls, sad souls. A reminder of a pop song people forgot. And I can't keep a girl, no, cause as soon as the sun comes up, I cut them all loose and work's my excuse. But the truth is I can't open up. And you don't wanna be high like me, never really knowing why like me. You don't ever wanna step off that roller coaster and be all alone. And you don't wanna ride the bus like this, never know who to trust like this. You don't wanna be stuck up on that stage singing, stuck up on that stage singing. Oh, I know are sad souls, sad souls, darling. All I know are sad souls, sad souls. Stay
Alrighty, that was Alicia Cara and Zed with Stay. So we're here on Lake Effect Radio, and today we decided we're going to talk about dreams and, life and whatnot. One of the dreams I personally had recently had to do with taking a test here at school, which included me getting the results back for the test, and I did not do well, to say the least. I'm sure other people have had dreams of that nature too. How about you?
Well, recently the kinds of dreams I've been having are the ones where you wake up and go about your day, but it doesn't follow the last day, but you're not aware of this. Mm-hmm. Until you wake up and it's why did I think that was not a dream? Because nothing made sense, but it did while I was dreaming it. I don't know. Right.
I used to have a lot of dreams where I would wake up without actually waking up and start going about getting ready in the morning. I would eat breakfast, brush my teeth, do my hair, everything. And I was like, all right, I'm all set to go. And then I would wake up and go to my dad yelling at me, you need to get up. And I'm like, I'm already up. It was very confusing.
Yeah, no, this is more like waking up in a bale of hay in the corner of a bar and then going outside and there's nothing there, but you just keep walking anyway.
But it feels real.
Yeah.
It's got that super realistic vibe to it. That's got to be fun. I would say there's a lot of, studies on knowing when a dream is real and whatnot and being able to control your dream. And there's a specific name for it that I have lost at this moment.
Lucid dreaming?
Yes, that would be the thing. Thankfully, we have someone here who knows what they're talking about.
So then I wake up and I can continue the dream if I choose to. So... yeah, and then I do know it's a dream.
Oh, speaking of waking up in dreams, it is the weirdest thing. You've had that experience where you're in a dream and then you wake up from the dream, but you're still dreaming? Have you ever had that happen?
Yeah, a couple times.
It's really bizarre because you're super convinced, or at least personally I am, super convinced that I'm awake because I woke up from the dream. But at the same time, I am still dreaming, and it's weird.
Have you ever dreamt up an out-of-body experience where you're looking down on yourself?
Oh, yes, of course.
But then yourself is actually something else, you just identify it as you?
I would say, I mean, when I was in, I think, middle school, I had, this out-of-body dream experience where I was a fairy floating around my school. I had wings and everything.
Ah, cool. No, usually, I'm just, a pair of eyes.
You're just a pair of eyes.
That sees things, and so I'm, floating above myself, but myself is actually just a rock.
But yourself is
It's a rock in a bed. Okay, why? But I don't question this at all until after I've woken up.
I'm just a rock. That is what I am. That is very telling of how you see yourself, I guess, because they do say that dreams are a manifestation of our internal thought processes and whatnot.
I mean, I usually don't even remember what it is. The rock is an example.
Right, I get
so
you.
So it's some item. It wasn't me. It's why was I staring at that thing that I don't remember what it was, that I know was not myself, thinking it was myself?
Right. I would say I often have dreams where I'm I can't put my finger on what exactly was going on, but I know some sort of the premise for the dream, but I couldn't tell you what it was. So I get that. Or I'll see people in the dream, and like when I'm dreaming it, I feel like they're person A, but I don't know why they're person A because I don't actually know who they are.
Or like in a dream, like giant chunks of what would be reality are just missing, and you don't question it.
No, because it's a dream, and it's just, it is what it is, and that's that. And dreams are just bizarre like that. And you know, when you transition from one part of a dream to another, and you're just like, all right, I'm here, I'm doing this, but now I'm another place and doing another thing, but it makes sense even though it doesn't.
Right, like if, you know, the room you were standing in just melted away and suddenly you were in a field, in real life, you'd freak out. In a dream, it's like, okay, a field, cool.
Yep, now I'm here. I'm just here, and it makes sense because that's the location I'm supposed to be in. Even though it doesn't make any sense at all. Gotta love dreams. Gotta love them.
Yeah, and even if, like, you saw this, like, on a screen, a room melting away and then you're in a field, it'd still be like, what is going on?
Right.
But in a dream, it happens to you. It's like, okay, cool.
All right, that yeah.
That happened. Not even realizing, like, not even saying, well, that happened. It just, like,
you just continue.
Base level, yeah, you just keep going.
Yeah, well, it's like not even recognized. It just is. That's what happened. You know, I think they have people that believe that when you do that type of a transitional change, it's actually over the course of a long time, and in the progression it makes sense, but you don't actually remember that progression, and so that's why you don't question it, if that makes any sense to what I'm saying.
Oh, maybe, because I've had that happen before and after I've woken up and decided to continue a dream. So, but then again, at that point I know I'm dreaming, so it's like, yes, I willed this to happen.
See, I'm not so great.
I'm not going to question this. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm not so great at lucid dreaming. I'm just, if I'm asleep, I'm asleep, and I have no idea what, I just, wake up and go, well, that just happened.
But if I'm lucid dreaming, like, it's not like, okay, I can do anything I want now. It's, I've got to follow, like, I just have, like, agency in following the course of what just happened to the next thing. It's not like, okay, so now I want, a giant piece of cake to appear. It doesn't. That's not how it works.
Right. Okay.
I mean, it can be, but that's not how it works for me.
Interesting. Yeah.
Or maybe I just don't want cake enough because whatever happened before was too interesting.
You know what? That might be it. You don't want that cake. The cake is a lie. That is the final consensus. The cake is a lie. We all know whose fault that is, though.
Yeah, it was GLaDOS.
Yes, she is a lying robot. Either way, back to our main topic. Dreams, they are weird. Almost weirder than I am, but no, nothing.
Almost.
So
they're also almost weirder than I am.
We've got some very unique people here in the radio station today, but that's kind of common.
It is.
Well,
this is where all the weirdos gather.
I disagree. I think they gather in more than just this place.
No, you're right. This is just like a place that some of them end up gathering to.
Right, exactly, because you have to be pretty weird in order to volunteer to rant to a microphone for people that you don't know.
I mean, I just don't think they're paying attention, so...
Well, still.
That's what I tell myself. Makes me feel better.
Just believe that they're not listening and paying attention. I don't know. Can I get any sign of life that anyone is paying attention? Nope. Seems like a solid no. So it looks like you win.
Yeah, it's reasonably true. So, I could just keep telling myself that. Whether or not it's 100% true. I'm just not going to think about it.
Exactly. It's not worth stressing about and going, well, are they actually paying attention or not? Well, it doesn't matter because we're still ranting random things on the air.
Yes.
And that's what I like. And, all right, so we're going to listen to some Pitbull with International Love, and we will talk some more when we get back.
Went from Mr. 305, Dade County, to Mr. Worldwide, all around the world. And now, we're international. So international. International. So international. You can't catch me, boy. I'm overseas at about 100 G for show. Don't test me, boy. Cause I rap with the best for show. 305 to the death of me. Cremate my body, let the ocean have what's left of me. But for now, forget about that. Blow the whistle, baby, you the referee. You put it down like New York City. I never sleep. Wild like Los Angeles. I'm spinning sleep. Wild love in my head. I feel the need. Oh, girl, it's international love. It's international love. I don't play football, but I've touched down everywhere. Everywhere. I don't play baseball, but I've hit a home run everywhere. I've been to countries and cities I can't pronounce, and the places on the globe I ain't know existed. In Romania, she pulled me to the side and told me, Pit, you can have me and my sister. In Lebanon, yeah, the women the bomb. And in Greece, you guessed it, the women they sweet. Been all around the world, but I ain't gon' lie, there's nothing like Miami's heat. You got it down like New York City. I never sleep. Wild like Los Angeles. I'm spinning sleep. Wild love in my head. I feel the need. Oh, girl, it's international love. It's international love. Down in DR, they looking for visas. I ain't talking credit cards, if you know what I mean. Here in Cuba, la cosa está dura, but the women get down, if you know what I mean. In Colombia, the women got everything done, but they some of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. In Brazil, they freaky with big old booties and they thongs, blue, yellow, and green. In LA, tengo la mexicana. In New York, tengo la boricua. Besito para todas las mujeres en Venezuela. Y en Miami, tengo cualquiera.
Hannah Wallace now serving as Carol said to Wilson another. Nice. Zarabak really looks like she knows what she has to do to be away.
Tip by Montel Goodwin gets the steal. Gets Mike Davis for three. No good. Rebounded by Wilson. Wilson put back up and in.
You're listening listening to Lakeland's Lake Effect Radio, the official home of Lakeland Sports. If you want to watch and listen, you can tune to www.livestream.com/Lakeland's Lake Effect Radio.
For one-on-one personal research assistance, make an appointment with a Lakeland librarian. Lakeland librarians offer personal help with research for assignments, projects, and papers. Stop by the library, reference desk, or call 440-525-7425 to schedule an appointment for a 20, 30, or 40-minute session. The library is located on the 3rd floor of the C building.
Hannah Wallace now serving, as Carvalho said. Julia Wilson is now better. Kaylee Zarbach.
Nice spike.
Zarbach is on fire at the moment.
Zarbach really looks like she knows what she has to do to be a winner.
Marshall Goodwin gets the steal. Gives to Mike Davis for three. No good. Rebounded by Wilson. Wilson put back up and in.
You're listening to Lakeland's Lake Effect Radio, the official home of Lakeland Sports. If you want to watch and listen, you can tune to www.livestream.com/Lakeland's Lake Effect Radio.
Here's some simple math that'll make you feel like a genius. Transfer your current car loan to Cardinal Community Credit Union and save serious money. In fact, if you don't save with Cardinal, we'll pay you $50. You save, or we pay. It's a no-brainer. Plus, when you move the loan to Cardinal, we'll reward your brilliance with $125 in cash. Stop in or visit cardinalcu.com. You save, or we pay. Only at Cardinal Community Credit Union.
Offer and rate may vary depending on individual credit history. All loans subject to credit approval. Offer may be withdrawn at any time.
Alrighty, so we're back, and we decided to talk about talking food because we're on a weird tangent today of just things out of the norm.
Yeah.
And so, you've got crazy things like talking cupcakes and talking animals in different shows and whatnot. And
Yeah.
what are we considering talking food today? Is it talking food if it's in the final product of right before you eat it, or is it anything along the chain of food processing?
Yeah, if it talks, then it's talking food. But if it talks right in front of you before you're going to eat it, then it's really talking food.
Then it's really talking food.
Like
that all of the stuff that they have in what is that silly TV show that I refused to watch where they had like off-brand McDonald's products, the fast food products with the French fries and I don't you don't know.
Wait, is that like Aqua Teen Hunger Force
yes,
or something?
that was
I
the
never
show.
watched it, but
okay, well see, neither
I
did
remember like commercials from Adult Swim for it.
Yeah,
so.
that were really weird, and you're just like, what am I watching? Why is the food talking? And has the world come to an end because there's talking French fries? And is it just me, or
it's probably radiation, yeah.
But did you notice that the food itself wasn't talking? It was the packaging that was talking there.
Yeah.
Because
so if your food packaging is talking...
Yeah, because if you think about it, it was the cup, not the beverage inside the cup. It was the package that the French fries came in, not the French fries themselves, I think. I don't know if... I that's the ones that I remember. But I remember that cup and the French fries, and they were creepy.
So, the question then is, if you were to eat all the French fries or drink all of the beverage, would the container still talk?
I would think so, because I think they're separate entities. Because, just because it's an empty carton of French fries or an empty cup doesn't make it any less of a cup or a carton of French fries or whatever.
It depends if they were connected or not. If it was just a container, then they would still talk, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
If it was the whole package, then you just ate them and they're gone now.
Are we going to go into like the Cars theory that the cars are actually like living human, they're not human beings, but humanoid-esque type things where they have internal organs and whatnot? They're not just like cars.
There's some weird theories about that.
Oh, yes, there are. Yes, there truly are. I've seen a cross-section of a car like Lightning McQueen in it's not a pretty sight. There's a lot of pink there.
And this also reminds me of those pictures from the internet of like Monster Thomas.
Monster Thomas.
Like there's Thomas the Tank Engine that crawls out and like.
Okay, I gotcha. I see what you're talking about there. Yeah, that's
with all the arms and stuff.
What? Haven't seen those pictures. I'm kind of thinking it's a good thing though, but yeah. I listen to or watch on YouTube like the Super Carlin brothers and other YouTubers that do lots of theories and pay attention to like ridiculous amount of detail of stories, and they go into like what they think the inside of a car is in cars, and it's weird. It is truly weird.
I mean, I thought they did just have engine parts that were like...
No, they have like a brain and everything. They think of them kind of like bugs, where the shell or the exoskeleton of a bug is replaced by the metal cars of the cars. And so they're like a living, breathing car. But not like Herbie. Like a bug. And not a VW bug, but a bug.
Yeah, I kind of took it to be like Herbie, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
well, see, that's kind of how I pictured it at first. But, you know, the way that it's sometimes depicted can get very creepy.
If Herbie had a face...
Herbie does have
more
a face.
of a face and moved, you know, a mouth that moved and
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is I was watching Cars recently and I noticed something very interesting. The rock formations that they have scattered around Radiator Springs are cars. They're like old cars and hood ornaments and things of that nature. If you look at them.
What are you doing with the dead? Why are you?
I think they're fossilized like cars, kind of like dinosaurs.
What if there were like visible people fossils just like hanging around everywhere?
I don't know, but it really is. They're old cars. It's either the front part of the car or the back part of the car. They're all cars, and I kid you not. There are tire tracks that are the clouds. They made the clouds tire tracks.
I mean, it really actually is just sounding like it's a car-themed world.
It really is. It doesn't... If you take into account those things, it doesn't really fit into the Pixar theory so well.
And if you were to like go into space and look at the you know, car Earth from far away, it would be shaped like a car.
I was wondering if that's where you were about to go. I mean, would it still be round if it was that car-y? But then again, they have established...
I mean, it could be a tire.
That makes more sense. In cars, the world is shaped like a tire. I want this to be a thing. I truly want this to be a thing.
I do too.
Because we know that whatever it is, see, the problem is they've established that there are places that they go to Tokyo, I think they do, in Cars 2. They go and travel around the U.S. in Cars 3 and Cars 1. And they meet Sir Axelrod, and they have all of these other things that line up with the geography of our Earth the way it is. So that's one of the reasons why I think that can't be a thing, but I love the concept. I want it to be a thing.
Oh, it could be Car Tokyo.
Car Tokyo. Well,
yeah, you just take the Earth as it is, and then you just rearrange it somewhat until it's shaped like a tire, and there you go.
You know, instead of like cartographers that, cartographers. That's funny. Didn't mean that one. But they rearrange things so that instead of the maps being a globe, you have them flat on a map. So we just, do the same type of shuffling onto a car, tire-shaped thing, and ta-da, we have a new world.
Tire world.
I don't know. I think people might get tired of that
And
pretty
then
quick.
the sun is just like a big headlight.
What are we talking? Teletubbies type things here? We got the sun that's a headlight? Nah. Because that would mean that the sun was a headlight on a car, and
Yes.
then we'd have to have a binary sun unless one of the headlights was broken. You know, people, you guys really need to check your headlights, because I see a lot of people driving around with one headlight going. I saw it last night and it annoyed me completely. Sorry, a bit of a tangent there.
Well, you just see the one. The rest of the car god is just in a different plane of existence.
The rest of the car god is in a different plane of existence. I'm not buying it. I'm believing more of the singular headlight, because they need to change the bulb or something.
Well, that works too.
What happens if the car god decides that it wants to turn on a blinker, though? I can only imagine just all
Weird
of a sudden,
things happen in the sky.
all of a sudden we just have an external light force that's just like, bam.
Daytime's getting brighter and going back to normal, like at a regular pace.
And imagine at night. What would happen at night there? Would it be far enough away from the original light source that it would affect nighttime too?
I mean, you'd probably see something happen. Just like, it's a little bit brighter. It's not. It's a little bit brighter. It's not.
I mean, I don't know. Comparatively, headlights and blinkers are relatively bright, and light travels very well.
What if this car guy decided to turn the brights on?
Oh no.
And then suddenly everything is cooked.
Oh yeah.
And it's Carmageddon.
Ah. Too many car theme jokes.
It's become car themed everything.
This is yeah, the high beams. What if it turns on its fog lights? Forget the high beams, the fog lights. Does that mean that we lose visibility because, you know, the lights are pointed in a different direction? So, I mean,
Probably.
Does that mean the sun is, well, the world is just weird.
It's a weird world.
Car world is very weird.
Now, what if that car guy decided to honk the horn?
Would that constitute for a version of the Big Bang? The big
no.
honk?
See, first of all, we have to consider, what is the space here? Is it a vacuum? Because then nothing happens.
I mean, you're right, because if it's like I said, but because it is car god, does it have enough power to overcome all of that to the point?
I mean, I guess it depends on what the car god wants, doesn't it?
Exactly. I'm telling you, that sounds like the big honk.
The big honk. I thought, wouldn't that be like and so like this, in this place there's only just one system, because like God is here in the sun. There's no galaxy or anything. The universe is small.
The question is, what type of car is car god? Is it really a motorcycle, and that's why there's only one beam?
Actually, I think that's what it is. It's a motorcycle.
We've got it. We have the answer. Car god is a motorcycle.
With a missing wheel?
Why would it have a missing wheel? Why does it have to have a missing wheel?
Because that is Car Earth.
Ah! It took a piece of itself to make Car Earth. Wow, we have a truly giving car god.
This is so ridiculous.
It's a motorcycle.
This is great.
I have never had so much fun on my station before, and you know what? Last week was a very fun show, so I like this little tangent that we're on there. I mean, maybe we're the spare wheel. Do motorcycles carry spares?
Not usually.
You know what? I'm betting we're the spare wheel.
What if it turns out that the world is a motorcycle helmet? That makes no sense, because who would wear a motorcycle helmet? And the questions just keep coming.
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying this motorcycle helmet theory.
There's no reason to have a helmet. There are no people. But the helmet is here. Why?
Do they even know what motorcycle helmets are?
No.
Because there's no need for a motorcycle helmet.
Never.
And depending on which version of the Pixar theory we're going with, people haven't been around for a very long time. I mean, the Wallies have already cleaned up the Earth. So there's no remnants. There's no remnants of people at this point. They are just giant bugs with mini bugs.
We're going with that version of the theory.
Well, that's the one I know the best, so that's the one I'm going to stick with.
Or that theory. That is an interesting one.
And can I just say, what is it? Okay, so they have the mini car bugs that are in cars. What do they consume to keep going? Because it's not like they can go to the gas station and get gas. Like Flo's, I don't think Flo's has a way of serving them. So...
I mean, I thought that is what they did. They went to the gas station and got gas.
But did you see any of those car bugs around? When you were, and I know it's probably been a lot longer since you've watched the movie since I have, but I'm kind of a Disney freak.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe they just eat gas drippings off the ground.
They just eat gas drippings off the ground.
Yeah, where there's a leak,
Yeah, because there was the old hotel / bar wherever they go. When they're doing their little drive through the countryside, they stop in at the wheel whale, I think it was, and they have the little car bugs that are just flying around like flies. But what would they be consuming? How are they still running? How does this work? Dun dun dun. Plot hole.
Maybe they just...
They just are, so therefore they are.
Yeah. Pixar wanted them there.
Fair enough. And it's just very confusing on how that would work. There's a lot of plot holes in Cars, to be honest. They have years on the trophies, but which years are we lining up with? Because the years match up with the actual years that they would have existed in parallel to the human world. So that kind of pokes a hole in almost every Pixar theory that there is. Because
it's just the same world, but car themed.
So are they really just an AU? Is Cars universe an alternate universe?
I think so.
And if so, that means that it cannot fit into the Pixar theory. Because it is a different universe. Because the whole concept of the Pixar theory is that they all exist in the same universe.
Which...
Dun, dun, dun. It can't happen.
A lot of these things could exist together. But fitting cars in it, I think, is a stretch. I do.
Yeah, because they talk about the fabulous Hudson Hornet, which was an actual race car that did dominate this racing circuit for a while. Well, actually, it was a person, not just a car, but it was a very prominent racing icon for a while. And the years that they have on the Piston Cups for the Hudson Hornet actually align with the years that the Hudson Hornet would have been dominating in the real world.
So it's a parallel universe where everything is a car.
Yeah.
But now the question comes, before, in our universe, when the car was invented, what back then?
Right.
Did this world just come into being at that point, or something else?
The real question is, how do they make more cars?
That is a fantastic question. I have no idea. They just come out of the factory.
Or they come out of the factory.
That's just what you tell the baby cars. I don't know what actually happens.
Because it doesn't really make sense. Because in Cars 3, they're introducing a whole bunch of, like, new generation cars that are faster, stronger, bigger, all that jazz. But where are these cars coming from?
Detroit.
How do cars have babies?
See, these big yellow mechanical arms come and put them together, and then, like, new car.
Just new car. That's just it. That's it. It's just new car. Bam.
But where did the schematics come from?
Right, and if they're bug-like, how does that work? If, like, the car... Oh, maybe they're less like a bug and more like a hermit crab.
Maybe.
Dun, dun, dun.
So they're just, like, crafting better and better shells all the time.
Exactly. You know, that kind of makes sense. I mean, if you think about it, they are just using these, you know, exoskeletons that they have as, like, a host, and they just kind of climb in there.
Then they're... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, their real form could be anything then.
Yeah, it really truly could.
It could be anything. It could be, like, just a bit of, like, you know, energy or...
Right.
You know,
right. And
they
then
could be people all along.
Right. Right. And then that goes into the really big question. Mater takes a ride in a helicopter at the end of Cars 1. How does that work? Because you've got a car inside of a helicopter. But
well, I mean...
That means that the helicopter is empty enough to have the car in there.
Well, I mean, it's just a helicopter's exoskeleton thing. But, see, is a helicopter the same entity as a car with a different kind of shell, or is it something different entirely?
Well, they cover in planes that planes exist on the planes, like airplanes. They exist in conjunction with the Cars world, and you see the same type of planes and mechanics and all that in Cars and in planes. So the movie Planes, because this isn't confusing enough. And I'm just going, if their internal components are hollow enough to fit a car inside of a helicopter, what truly is inside the cars?
Well, it does seem that whatever it is pretty much permanently bound to some version of that shell, whether you modify it or not. Mm-hmm. So, do you think it's the same life force inside of a plane?
I would think so, because they do seem to have the same type of abilities and all of that jazz, minus the fact that cars can't fly. But I know it's very confusing. And then the better question is, how do they die? I mean, in the Cars movie, Cars 3, they talk about, and the original Cars, they talk about main characters going through a major crash that would have, you know, if it was a person, potentially ended their life. But despite that, they don't die. But Doc Hudson, well, the gentleman who actually voiced him did pass away, and so that's why they had to make this change. But Doc Hudson is known to have died, and that's why he's no longer around in Cars 2 and 3. And so it's confusing, because they actually they go into having older cars, and there are lots of older cars that exist inside of the Cars world. So how does a car die?
I mean, maybe the bond between the life force and the shell wears down over time, and then, you know...
It just... done?
And then, so if you get in a crash, like, you know, the bond is still there. You just repair whatever it is, depending on, you know, where things were damaged.
Well, see, and then with the version of them being like an exoskeleton of a bug, how do you make those repairs if it's kind of like attached to them? How do you undent a car? Because
I don't know. I think the hermit crab just makes more sense.
I'm liking the hermit crab theory more and more the more we talk about this. It seems to fit very well. And, I think I'm going to point this out to like anybody that will listen, because I think it is a truly new innovation in the world of cars that they are just hermit crabs. Cars are hermit crabs. There you have
advanced hermit crabs with really awesome shells that do things. Yep.
This is a thing. This needs to be spread far and wide, and you heard it here on Lake Effect Radio, and you know what? We're gonna run with this, and we're gonna make it a thing. And I'm crazy, but we all knew that.
but crazy's fun.
Crazy is truly fun.
Yeah. If you're not crazy, then what are you doing with life?
Well, you're definitely not engineering new feats, because that's what crazy people do. Because it takes a truly crazy person to look at world through an eyes other than what everyone else sees, and come up with something that's truly innovational. Innovative. There we go. That's the proper term. I can speak.
I do have a question though. So if these cars are just like hermit crabs of some kind with hermit crab like shells, who's doing that? Who's like they're saying like, well, this life force here is going to go into this vehicle body thing. I mean,
are you familiar with The Host by Stephanie Meyer? I'm picturing something kind of like that. That's drawing a blank. I can see it in your face. Either way, the whole premise of the movie / book is that we have this alien force of creatures invading Earth, and they actually take over human bodies. We are their host, and they are like a parasite that lives inside of us, and they have a hierarchy of systems that distributes and decides, hey, this person or this human body is getting this alien life form. And
so what happened was, sometime around when cars were invented, an alien life form invades the Earth, possesses the cars, wipes out all humans, and then history continues as it would have, except it's all cars instead of humans. Welcome to Cars.
Ta-da. I'm putting my backing on this theory 100%. This is how it went down. There are no plot holes, except for all of the plot holes. I mean, it almost makes more sense. What if the reason why it is that those bugs are surviving is because the alien life force is actually just a parasite that's surviving off of the shell that they're in?
Yeah, they, one of the factories or whatever made little tiny ones, and they're bound too.
Exactly.
And if there's any giant cruise ships or whatever, same sort of thing.
Well, they actually do go into cruise ships and tankers and other things in Cars too. So those are confirmed characters / things. Boats are a thing in Cars. They have been taken over just as well. If it is electronic and moves, it's pretty much considered part of the Cars world.
And that makes sense because if you consider, how a brain works with its electrical pulses or whatever else, and if you have something, this alien force or whatever has that, and it just binds itself to whatever else, it almost makes sense.
Right. They didn't have their own moving capabilities, so they found a suitable alternative, which would be the cars, the planes, the boats, whatever else, the mopeds, My goodness, the mopeds.
But then the question still remains, how are the new ones made?
That I am not sure of. Maybe, like we were talking about, they have the cognitions, I don't know, however you say that word. They know that they need to continue producing able vehicles to move around in, so they continue using the car factories to make new ones and continue importing new souls into the new vehicles. Gotcha.
Yes, that's what I meant. Like, we know why they're making new shells, but where do the new souls come from?
Well, I mean, it's an alien race that's trying to inhabit Earth. I'm sure there's a reason why they're trying to inhabit Earth.
So maybe they're just like held in a container up there and they're slowly coming out.
Right, they come down in small bursts, as there are new shells created for them.
Or maybe they are all down already and they're just actively reproducing somehow, whether that's by just causing some electricity jolt somewhere, or
mitosis,
splitting off, or there's some sort of weird process that occurs.
Right. See, you know what? Now it all makes sense, I think. And that's how a car can be running without being actually running. Because if you think about it, one of the things that they do is start your engines. But the car is already moving and awake and all that, but its engine isn't running. How does that work?
Yeah.
So there you go. Makes more sense. They are shells.
So the engine, so they don't need gasoline to live, they need gasoline to run those engines, I guess.
Right. So that's how the bugs go. That's how the bugs survive. They don't actually ever start their engines.
Mm-hmm.
I like it more and more. The farther and farther we tinker with this theory, the more I like it. What else do we have that we can come up with? Because my question is, was it just me, or did Ferdinand, the VW bug that was in Radiator Springs, was he on some choice stuff or what?
Oh, so like the
hippie van.
So these life forms can in some way be affected by substances.
Well, I mean, that's definitely what they made it seem like, because there was a running thing about the fact that they didn't want his alternative, whether the other cars did or didn't want his alternative oil. I think that's, the alternative oil, that's what it was. So I'm curious about exactly what alternative oil was. But it was organic, man. How can oil be organic is my biggest question.
Oil is organic.
By definition, but it is not organic as far as the what is the technical terminology? You have to get a certain stamp of approval in order to label your things organic as far as produce goes. And when you're consuming the oil / gasoline, it need to adhere to the same set of procedures?
See, I have no idea how that would work. That just gets even more confusing.
It truly does. I'm not exactly sure how in the world you can have organic oil. Because, I mean, technically speaking, it is a carbon chain. So, therefore, it is organic,
yes,
chemically speaking. But all oil would therefore be organic. So why would saying that it's organic be a big hubbub?
Wait, maybe it's just not synthetic oil. Because that is a thing.
Synthetic oil is definitely a thing. So maybe, but that would still technically be an organic compound. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, maybe it means like actually from
Earth.
A life form instead of...
And how do you have gasoline and oil without dinosaurs?
This is another good question. Well, actually, no, the dinosaurs still happened.
But did they?
Yeah.
Prove it.
Well, because everything went on remember, humans were conquered by this alien species that came from beyond.
I'm still wondering how they managed to get the car-shaped rocks and everything.
Maybe they built them later.
Ooh.
They terraformed the Earth.
Ooh. I'm liking this theory. Yes.
Into a big tire.
Yes. There was terraforming, and now we have the world of cars. Yes. 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 This is where it's at. All right. Well, we are out of time for the day. So we will talk to you next week, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this crazy little hour that we've had. Have a good day, and I hope you've had fun listening to the Lake Effect Radio.
The station with the best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Lake Effect Radio.
Come on, now touch me, babe. Can't you see that I am not afraid? What was that promise